The Literary Corner, brought to you by New York Parrot TV, the voice for humanity. Hi, this is the most amazing collection I have read so far. I'm a reading-aholic. Dustin Pickering, you know me from Parrot Literary Corner. This is the Literary Parrot, available at Amazon.com and its various affiliates. If you have not seen this collection, it's 249 pages of glorious global literature in a contemporary vein. This covers a lot of subjects from the coronavirus to violence on the streets, to love, to romance. Everything you can imagine is in this collection, and you should buy it now. I'll tell you why. It's a collection of unique voices from the Literary Parrot. People have been on our show, have been participated in this, or have been published on our website, newyorkparrot.com. So please, I implore you, buy a copy. Thank you, and
Parrot TV, the voice for humanity.
Hi, welcome to New York Parrot's Literary Corner. I'm Dustin Pickering, your noble and honest host. I hope you'll take us up on that offer to pick up a copy of the Literary Corner's Parrot Anthology, The Literary Parrot. It's a wonderful 249 pages. So today our guest is Harinder Cheema. She is a renowned international poetess and award-winning and international published Indian author. So it's nice to have you today. How are you doing?
I'm doing fine. Am I visible?
Yes, we can see you and we can hear you. It's perfectly good. Everything's great. So I'm curious, can you tell us about some of you had quite a list of books that you have published. Can you tell us about some of your poetry collections? And I'm curious, a lot of them seem to have sort of religious titles, and are your books of religious nature?
Yeah, I write almost about everything under the sun. So yes, nature, God, these things are really close to my heart. But having said that, I write everything, about just everything, whether it is physical, metaphysical.
I think we lost you there.
So very close, and I feel when I have
you're back.
All right. Yeah,
we lost you for just a second. So, just a second, we lost you there. So
okay,
go ahead. Continue.
Okay. All right. So all this is very close to my heart, and since I feel that I have the ability to influence people, I thought of writing about social causes, expressing myself, so that, you know, if we can bring about a positive change in the world through positive literature, I think that's the best thing an author or a writer or a poet can do. So poetry is not only a passion to me, poetry is almost like a mission to me, wherein I can voice my my feelings about the social happenings around us, and I can really connect with people on those things and some way try to contribute to bring about a positive change in this world.
Right. So what are some of the names of your books? There's some interesting titles you came up with. I'm just curious for our viewers, what are some of the titles you have?
Absolutely. So this is my first book, which is called The Temple Stop. You can see it here. And this is a book, this is the first novel that I have written. It's a work of fiction incorporated with a lot of poetry in it. And this book is very close to my heart because I am a soldier's wife. I'm an Air Force officer's wife. And it so happened that we were posted to a place called Kashmir, which is quite, I think, popular worldwide, and happened to witness the Kargil War. And that is how I got inspired to write this book. And this book primarily, it laments the fact, which is universal, that we glorify our soldiers only and only during war and warlike situations. So somehow, when the war was on, there was a lot of glorification. There were a lot of stories to be told. But once the war was over, there was a complete lull. And there was no talk about the sacrifices that the families of the soldiers make. So this really touched me. And I wanted to bring about this very strongly in my book.
Mm-hmm.
So the preamble to my book begins with a poem which I have voiced this sentiment through that poem. So I would like to share that poem with you.
Okay.
Yeah. So this is about, let us stand with our soldiers.
Okay.
This is for all those who have not seen war from close. This is the story of a soldier who, with memories of his wife and children, marches to the front along with his brethren. How he remembers the innocent, questioning look on the faces of those whom he has given life. How he longs for a little child from his wife. With memories fresh and clear of those near and dear, he marches forth, showing great mirth and cheer. We salute the same faceless soldier in his coffin, watching a TV channel over a cup of tea and a piece of muffin. With an occasional tear in our eye and choked throat, pretending not to be rude, someone suggests to change the channel and also the mood. In a nation where we worship real-life heroes, we have no time to pay respect to the real-life heroes who do not return to the comforts of home after a shoot to watch their performance over wine and good food. He knows not how his death has changed the life of his widow who was once his wife. Fighting in the battlefield, his last thoughts are of his country and countrymen, and not his widow and his orphans. Such is the sacrifice of a soldier who puts everything aside when he fears danger to his motherland and her pride. We try to remember him, but he is gone. The family lives, unsung, forgotten. Wake up for the sake of that selfless one. Wake up, all ye selfish ones. Thank you. So that was the sentiment that I wanted to bring out in this book. And this book is, though it is an entertaining and captivating love story of a soldier, but I primarily have expressed this sentiment of the sacrifices of the families of the soldiers, which should be respected.
Absolutely. So why do you choose in that poem to rhyme? Is it to restrict some of the, give it some shape to the poem, or is it do you think it brings out the sentiment a little more strong?
Yes, it brings out the sentiment strongly, and people kind of, when you are presenting on any particular literary forum, you have to say some things with passion which are close to your heart. And I found the flow is really good when you say it in rhyme.
So do you write your poetry to read aloud, or find it that's why you specifically write in more formal verse than with rhyme?
Yes, that's right. I do recite my poetry. It's kind of I perform my poetry on various forums, and yes, it gives strength to the poem. Yes.
Absolutely. Definitely, I can feel more if it was loosely structured and didn't rhyme. I think it would be less effective from my perspective in hearing it. Maybe on the
Yes.
page, reading it, I could see that I can maybe get a little more about the feeling of it. Reading it on the page, if it
Yeah.
was not rhyming and not did not flow
Mm.
away, but when you
Yes.
read it and you're performing it, it comes out a lot
Yes.
stronger as a rhyming and more metered verse. I think, so,
Absolutely.
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So, when you reach to different groups, do you have critique groups and people that give you input on your poetry?
Oh, yes, they do. And actually, I started writing right from my school days. And I
Hmm.
used to participate in all kind of creative writing competitions. And I used to write for the joy of writing. At that stage, I didn't know much about competition, but the culture at home inspired me to write. My father, my dad was a man of letters, and he used to always sit with us and talk about literature and talk about various poets, dramatists, authors. And it so happened that the interest gradually started developing. And we used to sit with him and he used to talk and we used to just listen.
Hmm.
And that's how, you know, by and by, we got those sessions became so organized that we used to look forward to having sessions, because these days, see, we have online sessions, there are
Hmm.
tutors, there are coaches who are teaching you. But back in time, we had no such thing. But having this kind of thing right at home was so encouraging. And that was a time parents used to invest time. They had time and they could invest time in their kids.
Hmm.
So it was very informal, but it was so enriching. And every day he was adding so much value to us that every day we were becoming a better version of ourselves and
Hmm.
so driven towards literature. Because I think I must be in my 10th standard, 10th grade, when I made up my mind that I'm going to do my post graduation in English literature. And so much so that uh, I was quite knowledgeable about Macbeth, Hamlet, Alexander Pope, and the likes of them, because every day he was feeding us
Hmm.
that literature.
Hmm.
So even so in school also, when I used to write essays, my teachers, they used to take them and they used to read them loud to the whole class. So to read out that what quality I have written and how it should be constructed. So that was very encouraging. And I used to come back home very happy and tell my dad, see, this is, of course, the marks I used to tell him. And then I used to tell him, see, my essay was read out in the class. And this is what teacher said about me. So, and he was like, he was the great banyan of literature, or in and we grew in his shade. So he used to get very happy, but at the same time, he used to encourage us to go on stage. Then I started participating in debates, declamations, and in college, I became the managing editor of my magazine. And we used to, in fact, in youth festivals, we were given a topic just 12 hours before the actual performance, and we had to write on that topic. We had to learn it, rehearse it, and just after 12 hours go on the stage and perform it.
Hmm.
So the pressure was immense, but that is how we got more and more confident in life.
Right.
And later on, when I got married, I came into Air Force. I was a favorite master of ceremonies in most of the events. So I anchored events, I sort of scripted events, and that is how it, and did it in a very poetic manner. That is more important. So people used to enjoy it. People used to find a novelty in it, that it's being done in a very classy and a very poetic way. And that is how, one after the other, then started performing poetry on stage. And people used to, in fact, they used to come to me and they used to say, Harinder, we really enjoy your poetry. It's so entertaining, it's so touching, it's so elevating, it's so enriching. And where can we find you? Now, that was a time when things were getting better, mobiles had come and there were cell phones around and FBs had started. But then I was on no such thing. So I used to tell them, I said, if you want to find me, please come to these forums and I'm here. So it's much later, once I became a published author, that I joined social media. But now the kind of feedback I get is very encouraging. Messages from all across the world, through web, through internet, that your poetry is really healing. It's it's touching our hearts, and it feels really good, really good.
Do you think younger people are not as adept at literature, maybe because of social media and being able to just Google something? You think they've lost a little
Yes,
bit of the quality that you had, that you gained, and having had it read to you and discussing it, and maybe at supper time?
absolutely, absolutely, yes. Because you see, first of all, we are today living in a very technical age, a very technical age. So you would see that mostly students are either engineers or doctors or professionals, and it's very painful to see that some colleges do not have arts
Yeah.
uh, as
No.
one of the options. So
Mm-hmm.
it really pains me. So names like students these days, the generation knows names like Alan Musk and others,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
but they don't know who Alexander Pope is. They don't know who
Right.
Lord Byron is. You know, so it's painful for people like us. But
Mm-hmm.
slowly, things are getting better. Now, on being on social media, many young, the youth are following me, and they come for tips, and they really appreciate, because I feel it's very important to keep evolving when I'm talking personally about myself also, because see, you have to march with the times. So I
Mm-hmm.
try to give a contemporary feel to my poetry. I make it appealing, so that, and because it is read loud, so I have to make it appealing. And when I see the responses, I feel that yes, now things are looking better. Even the young generation are looking towards poetry. They are experimenting with it. They are coming with their own forms. And as well, they are looking to their icons, so they can follow someone and they can create or carve their own niche.
So, do you think how is COVID? How are you coping with this situation, this crisis with the pandemic, and relating to people across the world with your poetry?
Yeah. So, these pre-COVID times, I was all the time traveling from one place to another, literary events and book talks, and from one place to other, and it was very hectic. And but I was enjoying, since this is my work. So, and suddenly everything came to a stop. One fine day, lockdown and things like that, and pandemic, and for a moment you felt that life's come to a standstill, and what would happen next? But
Right.
then things, because the positive person in me, I thought probably something would come out of it. And you can't sit idle, because the situation, the things around you have changed. So you have to change yourself, you know. So the first thing you have to do is get prepared mentally for the situation you are in, and face it bravely. So that's what we all have done. And that's how we have emerged and new things. And the whole scenario has changed today. See, I'm talking to you.
Mm-hmm.
I'm in front of you today in a different way.
Mm-hmm.
But we are connecting, isn't
Right.
it?
Mm-hmm. It's very interesting how this whole situation has actually created a tighter global network.
Yes. And it has made the globe small.
Mm-hmm.
Connecting has become even more easier. And life is slowly getting sorted. People are actually exploring and finding out that, yes, this is a different shade of life which we probably never explored. And now it comes to us, and see how we have adapted. That's a beautiful thing about it.
Right.
Yes, pandemic.
Right.
And pandemic has been a very stressful time, mental health issues and things like, because we had been living in a very fast-paced life, and slowly they were the breaks.
Mhm.
So yes, it was
Right.
stressful for everyone. And then you are hearing stories all over, very negative ones, and all that negativity you had to take in. So poetry was one thing which brought out so much of positivity,
Right.
which showed you a way to, deal with all the stress. So actually, pandemic has also shown us that how it has also shown, exhibited our grit and strength, how to cope up with such situations. So here I would definitely like to read my one poem on poetry itself. What do I say about poetry?
Okay.
Poetry. Poetry is like a river to me, flowing with the silt of rich thoughts. Poetry is like a symphony that touches the chords of the hearts. Poetry is the inner profundity, weaved in mesmerizing words. These words flying far and wide, just like the migratory birds. Poetry is the medicine to me that can heal the tormented souls. Poetry is the nectar to me, served in a beautiful bowl. Poetry is a vehicle to me that carries my messages to the world. It is my connect with the divine, and I write what I receive from the God.
Yeah, very interesting. I think that I like, especially, I write what I receive from the God. That's so very true for a poem. It
Yeah.
sort of kind of comes to you. It doesn't. It's not something really that it's a different kind of craft. It seems like than a lot of the other arts. It's something that just sort of happens in a lot of ways.
Yeah, and I would like to add here that when I say I receive poetry from the God, I feel it too.
Yes.
I feel it too in the sense it comes so naturally to me,
Right.
so effortlessly. And even if I am in the kitchen doing my regular chores or maybe cooking, all the time my mind is cooking something else. Those thoughts are coming from somewhere. And
Right.
there's a strong urge, like I get up in the middle of the night because there's a strong urge to write something. Now it's not it's a very unearthly hour, and people wonder why I'm moving towards my study. But the urge is
Right.
such that I have to pen down. Only then I feel the calm. When I pen down those thoughts on a piece of paper or maybe type them on my mobile, I feel peace. I feel, yes, somebody has sent me.
We're going to take a brief break, and we'll come right back
Sure.
with that thought, and we'll
Sure.
some music here, and we'll come right back with you. Thank you so
Sure.
much.
Sure.
Keep watching the New York Parrot TV, the voice for humanity.
All right, we're back with the Parrot Literary Corner, and we're talking with Harinder Cheema. So Harinder, you were saying that you're in the kitchen, you get interrupted with the muse and the god, and you have to write, and people are kind of like, well, why are you going to your notebook or whatever? If you want to continue with that thought.
Yeah. So that is what I was just trying to tell you, that it is such natural to me. Now people say that you write very effortlessly. So I have to confess here that I really feel that somebody is uploading these thoughts, and I just have to, pen them down.
Right.
So it's as natural as that. And I sincerely and honestly, because for me, poetry is profundity of thought, conveyed in beautiful words. So these thoughts are coming from somewhere, and I just have to pen them down. And I also feel that it is more important about what you are saying, and then comes how you are saying it. So the thoughts really should be able to connect with people, should be able to touch the chords of the hearts. Only then you are actually successful in your mission. If you're writing something abstract, if you're writing something weird which only you can understand, I don't think so. Then you miss the connect with the people. And life has so much to offer. You just have to open your eyes. I always say that if you have sight, you can see the Vibgyor, the rainbow, the 7 colors. But if you have the insight, you see an extended Vibgyor. You see many shades which perhaps you can't see with open eyes. So I just would like to read a poem here, which I have written. Is about the book of life, how life teaches us. And in very small things, in very simple things, in very commonplace things. It's not about writing about, we are not about, see, small things can change the world. It's small drops of water that make an ocean. So we are not always talking about plucking stars from the sky. We are talking about simple things. We are talking about real things, the things that we can feel and touch, and how we can actually get inspired by those things. So I'm going to read this poem now, and you will actually understand what I'm trying to say. So this poem goes like this. The book of life. The river of thoughts flowing within me gathers the silt of knowledge. This life itself is a big book, each page a school, a college. Every day I learn from the vastness of the sky to make my heart big, to forgive those who have wronged me and the past not dig. Each day the birds teach me that it's more important to be free and not to be caught in the net of temptations to acquire fame in a hurry. Each day the fallen leaf tells me that as compost it goes back to the tree. And though fallen from the heavens high, my soul can still connect with divinity. Each day I see the caterpillar braving challenges to become a butterfly. And blessed with a complex brain, we humans complain and cry. Each day I look at the mountain that tries to touch the sky, an impossible feat though it is, but I marvel as it tries. Each day you will learn something if you open your inner eyes. Your own awakening can only make you so profound and wise.
When I'm
So,
thinking, when I hear that poem, I'm thinking of like there's like a lot of poets, and myself included, are searching for sort of a grand vision of life, like a unified idea. And when you talk about at the end of the mountain reaching for the sky, and even though it's not able to touch the sky, it still
yes,
tries, and you still marvel at it. And that's
yeah,
that's a small thing in and of itself, is searching for a kind of truth. And then at the
yes,
end, you close it out with being wise and the the inner eye and things of that nature. And what I gathered from
yes.
that poem.
Yes, yes, absolutely. So that is what I'm saying, that the life itself has so much to
Mhm.
offer around us. It's how we see things, it's how we feel things, and how we can teach others that please, you have to be positive even in this. Like I give an example of a fallen leaf. A fallen leaf is actually a fallen leaf. And
Mhm.
you will feel it's dead and gone, but then it goes back as compost to the tree.
Right.
And so why do you feel that if even if your soul is fallen from the heavens high, you can still connect with divinity?
Hmm.
So there's a
Absolutely.
way, where if there is a will, or rather,
Hmm.
where there is a will, there is a way. So you have to have that grit, you have to have that determination. And literature is just that. Literature is life. You know, you will
Hmm.
see it everywhere. When Shakespeare talks about Hamlet's indecisiveness, or when he talks about, say, Macbeth's inordinate ambition, actually he's talking more about the traits and not about the persons.
Hmm.
So that is life. That is life, and that is literature. So it is
Right.
so
Absolutely.
connected, and we fail to find that connect. We take them as two separate things, but literature is, after all, inspired by life,
Hmm.
inspired by people. So that is how we actually learn so many things. And literature is not meant only to be enjoyed. It has its aesthetic value, but more than that, it teaches you something if you are willing to learn. So much so that,
But we lost you on the sound there.
all right,
Oh, there you are. I got you again.
all right, am I audible?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, okay.
Got off for just a second
So,
there.
yeah. So, as I was saying, that, small things like when we study about Lady Macbeth,
Mm-hmm.
her powerful character, and how she commits the sin, and then she cannot emerge out of it. So, just trying to tell people that you might think you're very strong, but even the people who feel they can commit any kind of crime, have a conscience somewhere, and this conscience is going to get pricked, and you have to pay for what you have done in life. So these are very small things, and how you see it to make your own life better, and teach others how you can make, how they can, you know, bring positivity in their life. So I call it positive literature. And this goes on to make a positive, better world.
Right.
And that is how poetry is helping.
I think it also uplifting people. You aspire to a sense of beauty and looking at life from a perspective of, you know, just grasping each moment and just feeling it in the moment, even in the negative stuff and the feelings that kind of oppress us have a quality to them that remind us that we're living beings and that there's something beyond that.
Absolutely, absolutely. You said it. So it's basically, responsibility lies with us. We try to keep on shifting. We keep shifting blames. Actually, we try to see. I mean, I'll give you a very small example here. That we live in a Kant area, which is very beautifully done, which is very absolutely very nicely maintained, and it's different from the city. Now, why it's different from the city? Because people here where we are living in a Kant is looked after by people like us. So we are making our own contributions. We are not blaming each other. Say we know that we can't litter this place, we can't make it dirty. And so not like other places where you just throw whatever you want anywhere you wish to. So the responsibility always lies with us, but we have a habit of shifting these blames on others so as to, and then we of course have a birthright of complaining and cribbing. Yes, this is not right, that is not right, and we try to put it onto the authorities, one after the other, but we are not ready to take the blame on ourselves. So that is how, yeah. So that is how you have to see things a little differently, and make a kind of difference yourself. Now, it's in our hand to make a difference where we can, and I emphasize on the line where we can. So it is obviously in our hands to make a difference some way or the other, and we should definitely try to make it. And as a poet, as a writer, as a author, I always feel that this is the message that I want to convey to everyone. Let's make a difference. And the moment we realize that it's our responsibility, then things are going to change.
Absolutely. So, would you like to have a final message for the viewers out there to anything related to poetry, or maybe you have an upcoming publication you'd like to talk about?
I'm an author of 20 poetry anthologies with my one novel in fiction, and I have published in I think now n number of international magazines, e-magazines, and web magazines, and also my poetry has been translated into poetry films. So and they are and I have touched so many topics in them, like save the girl child, save earth, save environment, save water, and trying to spread messages far and wide. And yes, I feel my message to my viewers is that when we are this is the best thing that we are doing in the present times, is raising our voice. And it's the most important thing to do today, to raise our voice, because you see, what are we doing in the world forums? What are we doing around the round tables? If we all start understanding that, sitting where we are, and we raise a voice, and we actually do something to make a difference.
Do you have any shout outs or thank yous you'd like to share as well?
Please come again. I couldn't follow that.
Sorry about that. What I was asking was, would you like to thank anybody out there, like friends, family, or say
Yeah,
hello to somebody out
I
there? Go ahead.
yes, I would. Yeah, so I would like to thank uh, almost everyone, my family, my parents, my husband, my sons, my friends, and all those friends that I have made on social media, and I feel it's a one big family now, and
Mhm.
I have connected so well, and I so much of sharing of thoughts, exchanging of ideas, growing, enriching. So I want to thank almost everyone here. And of course, I would like to thank you, Dustin, for having me here on this forum, on this platform. It was great talking to you. And of course, expressing my literary views and talking about literature, which is, of course, very close to my heart.
Absolutely. It was nice talking to you too, Harinder. I really enjoyed what you had to say and the ethics and the literary talk, about your family and sitting down with literature. And I enjoyed hearing the stories. So thank you so much for joining us today. So
Thank you
if you
so
guys
much.
out there are viewing us and you haven't subscribed to our channel, right now is a good time to subscribe. From what I'm hearing, you just guys blink, just hit that subscribe button on our on the YouTube, and remember when you come on here, you can leave comments and questions for our guests as well on your own. So we're not just doing this by ourselves. Also, if you want to support this project and help us improve our productions, we have paypal.me/nyparrot. You can see that on the banner down there. Anybody wants to donate a little extra money, we would love to appreciate it. And definitely thank you as well out there viewing Graham today. And tell us what you think. Leave some comments, give us a thumbs up, and tell us what you think of what was said. And just don't be afraid. I mean, we're not going to judge you. And if you want to be on the program, we need guests. We love to talk literature, art, music with creative minds. You can join us as a guest. Contact me, Dustin Pickering, at literarycorner@newyorkparrot.com. And remember again, please subscribe. We're looking for 1 million subscribers. We are the best TV station globally, and we're looking for a global audience for creative minds. So please suggest us to others, share this content with other people, share these videos and these interviews, and tell others about us. Don't forget that. And remember, have a wonderful afternoon and keep writing. This is Parrot Literary Corner. The Literary Corner, brought to you by New York Parrot TV, the voice for humanity. Hi, this is the most amazing collection I have read so far. I'm a reading-aholic, Dustin Pickering, you know me, from Parrot Literary Corner. This is the Literary Parrot, available at Amazon.com and its various affiliates. If you have not seen this collection, it's 249 pages of glorious global literature in a contemporary vein. This covers a lot of subjects from the coronavirus to violence on the streets, to love, to romance. Everything you can imagine is in this collection, and you should buy it now. I'll tell you why. It's a collection of unique voices from the Literary Parrot. People have been on our show, have participated in this, or have been published on our website, newyorkparrot.com. So please, I implore you, buy a copy. Thank you. The Literary Corner, brought to you by New York Parrot TV.